Today we're going to be talking about Siphon Draw Apothecary and the video we produced there recently.
Soap making.
Saponification. Had you heard that word before we filmed?
Interestingly enough, yes, I have. When I was in college, one of our dorm mates, he would make soap in his dorm room. So oddly enough, yes, I was aware of soap making.
It's probably the last place I would have expected someone to be making soap is in their dorm room.
Well, this guy was pretty adventurous. He also brewed his own homebrew beer in his dorm room. So this guy he was on his own path.
He had his own apothecary going there.
Oh yeah, everything. Honestly, anything you could think of, he tried it in his dorm. He was doing everything, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's probably good though. That's how you learn.
He should have been focusing on school.
Do you know where he is now? Did he?
No. I do not know. He was a character though. He was the guy in the dorm that was like the funny guy, but then also he was like the most well-rounded of like, wait, you make your own soap and like he's selling them. He was very. I don't know, curious fellow. He would always do like this weird like announcer voice for some reason. Like I don't know why, but he'd be like "Tecate light," like out of nowhere. You'd hear this from down the hall. You'd be like, "Is that's a soap guy?" Yep, that's a soap guy.
Did you ever have any like side hustles or anything like that as a
in
kid?
College,
like high school, middle school? Did you ever do anything to like make some money?
I worked. No, but yes, I worked a lot with my dad. So he would do side jobs. Like he worked in construction, but then on the side he would do like he would pour driveways or pathways, sidewalks and stuff. So I would help him a lot. And it wasn't necessarily for side money. It was just I didn't know any better. I didn't know I could demand money. I was working for below minimum wage back then. I was just working for the roof over my head and the food on the table, I think. Get
some experience out of it though, memories.
Oh yeah, it was
time with your dad.
Yeah, we had some hot dogs at Home Depot every now and then, but no, it wasn't until probably I got to like high school, college where I started doing things that were like outside of, like I had like small part-time jobs. I worked at Papa John's when I was in high school, and then in college I started doing like video and photo freelance.
Okay. I think I've always done random stuff. I think throughout my entire life.
For money or for hobby?
Both. I remember in middle school, a scheme I cooked up was I sold mints.
Scheme?
Yeah. Did I tell you this?
No, but now that you said that, it jogged my memory of something I definitely did.
Okay, so what'd you do?
Yeah. So you sold mints. I sold my mom's cookies.
Nice.
So okay, I had a whole network of friends that were like, I don't know, I was like the distributor basically. But yeah, my mom would make cookies, and she hates this story, but she thought she was just making cookies for me and my friends. Little did she know that my brother, who's 4 years older than I am, taught me the real secret of no, you take the cookies from mom and you sell them.
How much are you selling for?
I think it was like 25 cents a cookie back then.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty good.
That's good. That's still like, that's almost free.
It was honestly, it was enough where like you could roll to the cafeteria and just like make it rain. You're like, you know what? I'm going to buy another couple of PB&Js on top of my slice of pizza or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty good because you had no upfront costs.
No, I mean my mom fronted the bill, but it's like she would get the compliments. Like people would know where the cookies came from, but she didn't know until I think it was like my junior year that she finally caught on to this scheme that my brother and I had been doing for the past 7 years maybe. And then she finally caught on. She was like, "Wait, you're selling these cookies? They're supposed to be for your friends."
Now they'd be at least $1, I feel like.
Yeah.
At least. What camera died? Is that one? Is it not plugged in? I just like went to sleep?
It like overheated.
Oh, it did, huh? I guess we've never had them on that long.
I guess not, but it shouldn't overheat, remember?
Being plugged in, yeah, it's not recording, yeah.
Hot.
It's back on. All right, we'll see. We'll roll with it.
Was it off the whole time?
Yeah.
So it was like cutting to black, though.
Oh, interesting. Well, we'll see.
From the previous podcast, we mentioned
technical difficulties.
Yeah, there's nobody operating these cameras, nor is anyone operating the actual
just us.
Switching. It's an automated program, which the cameras we have, I guess, they can only be so good. You know,
that's right.
You can only hope for the best.
So you're selling cookies, okay, 25 cents. Yeah, I think that'd be $1 now. My mint story was the vending machine. You'd get those like Lifesaver mint rolls. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I think
the gummy ones or like
no, like the hard
Yeah.
white spearmint or peppermint or whatever, just but like Lifesavers mints. And they came in a roll, and I think there was like 12 in a roll, and the roll was 50 cents. And it was one of those situations where, you know, I would get the roll and people, oh, can I get a mint? Can I get a mint? Can I have a mint? Mint. And I was like, well, yeah, but like a nickel. And every roll would be like 60 cents I'd make.
Yeah.
So I didn't have very good profit margins back in the day. But every roll I'd make a dime and just rolled that into like getting more. And I feel like there's a lot of stuff, especially when you're younger as kids, you know, there's always like random cash floating around in schools for lunch money or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But kids like always need stuff. And this might be my advice to like,
What do you mean need stuff?
Pencils, erasers.
Oh, okay.
Hey, can I have a piece of paper? Can I, you know, and if you find those things that people are always looking for, like the kid that always loses his pencil, just have a pack of pencils in your backpack. Oh, you need a pencil? Yeah, that's $0.25, man. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Like they're happy to give you money if you have what they need to solve their problem.
Yeah, no, there was a brief moment in time where I made my own lockpick sets out of like bobby pins, and I don't know if people know this, but in like a windshield wiper blade, the metal inside of a windshield wiper blade is like the perfect size for like a tension rod in a lockpick set. So like you just cut it to size and like bend it into like a right angle. And then you use that and then a bobby pin. So like you kind of fold it over, and then at the very end you just make it a little like hook almost. And then you have a little lockpick set. But I used to make those and sell those in high school as well. So yeah.
So you did have your schemes.
Apparently I did. Yeah. Now you're jogging my memory. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I did sell quite a few things when I was in high school. But they were very much things that I had, like, you know, the cookies were readily accessible. So like 100% profit on those. Granted, I did have a few people underneath me who like, you know, I had dealers of
Wait,
cookies.
this is like a multi-level marketing?
Oh yeah, like I had, because like I don't have access to everyone in the school, but like for the people that weren't in my classes, let's say, you know, I had friends that were in certain like the higher level classes, right, versus the lower level classes, like, you know, like that kind of thing. So I had my people. They got their cut, which usually was just extra cookies. But
these didn't become our full-time jobs. No. But I feel like for a lot of people, once you find your passion, like, so to talk about Siphon Draw and Colleen and what she's doing, making soap and organic skincare products, like just from natural ingredients, I thought that was really fascinating to see, because for me personally, I didn't grow up with a dorm neighbor making soap, so I'd never seen the soap making process before. Learned a lot there. And then also just that awareness of the realization, because I've not personally been, you know, I'm not like a skincare enthusiast. I'm not applying a bunch of like lotions and ointments and things. You know, there's like a few tricks or things you do, like, oh yeah, use Vaseline if you want like a wound or to heal faster or whatever. But for general everyday use, I don't use a lot on my skin.
Well, that's something that I feel like a lot of people, you like dry skin, like darker people like myself, I can see my skin when it's like ashy, whereas opposed to, I'm assuming you probably can't see it. It's not readily apparent.
But also my skin doesn't, you know how
you
wet
are very
and lubricated
wet.
my skin
Yeah, for some reason. But
it's just like, don't shake my hand. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, and then of course, like where we live, it's a very dry, not humid at all climate. So it's like lotion is very important, but also can be, I don't know, it can have a very interesting effect, especially when it comes to mosquitoes. Like you can have a lotion that smells great, but then you get attacked by mosquitoes. So it's a little, you know.
The mosquitoes like lotion?
It depends the kind of lotion. I've been on some of the shoots we've been on where like I've put on like certain lotion in the morning and then just swarmed by mosquitoes. And I'm like, it must be the lotion, because there's no way.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing here in Arizona is the, sunscreen, sunblock, like sun protection of some kind.
Yeah.
Because it's just...
Honestly, I would, especially here, like yesterday I did some lawn maintenance for about 6 hours, and I just covered myself. I try to avoid sunscreen at all costs.
Sure.
Because it's, for one, it just feels weird, and then the reapplying and all that stuff. So if you could just cover your skin completely, that's probably like the best route, but it's not
cover
necessarily
in
the
like
most fashionable.
fabric.
Yeah, so like long sleeve.
Yeah, not in lotion, not covered in lotion.
No. Yeah, just like dip in lotion. I guess you could have like a No,
just wax, like a tub of wax.
just like dip it and then walk out. But
yeah, it's something I hadn't. I mean, I've always considered in the back of my mind when other people talk about their skincare routine or the amount of products they use, the makeup, acne treatment, whatever it is. And I'm like, how do you know that that stuff is like good for you? And everyone's excuse is like, well, they sell it in the store, it must be fine. And I'm like, I don't know. That's a lot of chemicals.
Yes.
To use every day.
Which everyone's different. So that's the other thing, right? It's like
true.
something that works for somebody may not at all work for you. So it's people with more sensitive skin, which I'm sure like when you're looking for products on the shelves, it says for sensitive skin. But if you develop a rash immediately, probably not the product for you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like talking to Colleen, because she was explaining it as, the health benefits of skincare is not necessarily that like you're going to use an ointment and it's going to cure you, but you're using the better product in place of the other one that's causing the issue, which is very true, right? Like in the past, I've probably like, the one thing I can think of is I took a vitamin D supplement one time and my vision started getting blurry.
Right.
Like, and it was kind of one of those things I didn't put two and two together right away. Whereas like I started taking vitamin D, a certain brand, and then over the next like week or two, my vision was getting like blurrier and blurrier. And I was like, what have I changed?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'll stop taking the vitamin D thing. And then I stopped, and a few days later, oh, my vision's back and better. So I feel like there's a lot of those like subtle little things that if you don't connect the dots, you could keep applying the same lotion or ointment or gel and being like, man, I really need to get this rash to go away. Meanwhile, it's the thing you're doing that's causing it.
Well, that's interesting. I've like one of my well, I don't know if you dye your hair. Do you dye your hair at all? No. So
it's getting real gray.
Right, exactly.
The beard and the hair getting gray real quick.
But if you do want to dye your hair, it's very interesting because a lot of like shampoos and everything have a lot of synthetic material in there. So when you do that, your hair builds up this like synthetic, basically like covering, which you have to get rid of before you like do anything else to dye your hair, which a lot of people like don't realize. So it's like a lot of the stuff that you're putting on your skin, hair, whatever it is, it's like you have a film on you, right? It's synthetic film. So that's a very interesting thing because especially when it comes to making these products, very like simple, like very low number of ingredients, which a lot of people kind of like don't, I don't know, they look past it. It's like, no, it's like very core simple ingredients can get you a long way.
And Colleen was describing it like she likes to use the ingredients to make her products that are things that are like you would eat or are edible.
Yeah.
Olive oil or cocoa butter or coconut milk was one, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff. Now, granted, you're not going to eat lye because that's the chemical reaction with the fats that does the saponification we were talking about. That's how you make soap. Take a fat and add lye. So you're not going to eat every single ingredient, but the majority of them are things that you would ingest readily into your body. And so it doesn't matter if you're applying to your skin, if it's like it's getting in your body, like, okay, that's a little bit better than some strange thing that was made in a lab by some scientist that's been checked off a list that's like, yep, this is safe for you. Oh, meanwhile, let's find out 30 years later, that was actually like this terrible thing. And have you experienced, you see the commercial on TV. If you or a loved one has, used this product, call now.
For a class action lawsuit.
I just like meeting someone who makes that stuff because I feel like it is kind of a lost art. Skincare is a huge booming industry, but it's very rare that you would go to like a Sephora and it's not like the people there made those products. They're just selling them and they're made somewhere else. You know how they're made, what the ingredients are. Versus you can go talk to Colleen, which is actually cool enough. I've talked to her since and she's like, so many people have come into the shop now and saying they've seen the video.
Oh, nice.
And they want to check it out because it's a kind of like a touristy spot, that ghost town. So people coming from far and wide all over the world to Arizona want to go see a ghost town, of course.
Sure.
And they walk in, they're like, yeah, I saw the video. And she's like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And so they already have this like introduction. They know her and then they get to go and see her and be like,
nice.
Hey, you're the person. She's like, yeah, I work here.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's for a lot of those like small like shops like that, like she makes it in that shop. Like I wouldn't have known, right? It's like unless you ask her or something. But it's it's a small shop where you walk in and you think it's just like cool touristy stuff. But then it's like, no, I actually make these products right here, and I've harvested all the materials from like literally right outside.
Yeah, which is what you want. Like if you're gonna go get we were talking kind of before the show here about the tourist traps and buying the local products. Meanwhile, it's like made in Taiwan, made in Mexico, wherever, and it just has like Arizona on it versus something that's literally made here from the plants, the vegetation, the products that also exist here. So I think that's kind of a cool thing as far as like tourist spots go, to be able to get something that is from that.
Is Arizona. This is Arizona, yeah.
Made by someone here rather than just something that's a keychain with a cactus on it.
Yeah, or a scorpion popsicle or whatever.
Have you ever had one of those?
No, which
I see them at gas stations and stuff, and I don't know who they're for.
I'm sure. I mean, it's a great novelty gag gift, right? It's like, Arizona popsicle. But are people actually eating them? Possibly. It's a good source of protein. Right? I'm imagining insects are a great source of protein. Maybe one isn't the best, but it might be something that you can just put on display.
I don't know. I see those all the time and have never been tempted because I don't know why you would get that.
No, I'm assuming it's got to be 100% pure novelty because why else
Scorpion
would you?
candy.
Not my first go-to for candy.
Get the get the soap, get the lotion, get the sunblock, which is here's another thing that isn't always understood or known. And she talked a little bit about it beyond the video. Sunscreen, sunblock. Like a screen and a block are different, and Colleen prefers the block because it's a physical block. It stops the sun versus a screen. I think like it was more like a filter, like chemicals that filter the sun. So that's something else I hadn't quite considered. But
well, sunblock. I mean, like most notoriously are lifeguards, right? Where they have the white on the nose.
Has anyone ever done that outside of like movies?
Absolutely.
That's like a movie.
That
thing.
is a sunblock technique, right?
Just
there.
for your nose.
Oh yeah,
not your cheeks,
well,
not your
could do it for
forehead.
your cheeks.
No, what
Football
like
players.
I'm saying
Baseball
just
players.
the white nose is like a Disney Channel movie thing.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't think.
I think it's very.
I've never seen
proactive.
someone in real life just only sunblock their nose.
I've seen people terribly apply sunblock.
Yes.
And it leaves like very thick patches of the white, but
sure just the
helps.
nose. I don't know if just the nose burns for some people.
Yeah. But the fewer ingredients is always better, like regardless of anything. Which
I think so.
I think, like when it comes to food, the fewer ingredients, the better. I think. I don't know, but that's just how I am. A very simple man.
Well, it's
Simple
cheaper
tastes.
for one. That's certainly true. And I would say, in general, it probably does make better, higher quality products.
I think, like especially when it comes to like meat, for instance, it's like if I'm gonna make a steak, I just salt and pepper. That's all you need because I want to taste the meat. I don't necessarily want to taste all the other extra flavors, which it's cute. You can apply all these other interesting flavors, but I want to eat steak. Oh, I just want that. Which, especially for these products that she makes, it's like, well, if you want to solve this one issue, here's the one product that will do just that.
So, speaking of products that are good for you, let's talk about lion's mane. Often called the mushroom of the gods, lion's mane has a long history of medicinal use. This popular nootropic has been shown to enhance focus and increase cognition, helping you feel more productive and accomplished. Research studies have also shown that lion's mane is neuroprotective, giving you peace of mind as you power through your day. Try lion's mane and experience the mental clarity and productivity boost you've been missing. Cameras seem to be still operating. Nothing's overheated. Nothing's blacked out. So we're good in that regard so far.
Yeah.
Still going. Anything else from the production we did with Colleen at Siphon Draw?
I mean, I just thought it was interesting, like the other aspects, like just for some reason, the bubble wrap to make it look like honeycomb. I was like, like mine, because I don't know, I like arts and crafts, right? Like that kind of like production design. Like we live in this world of like film and television where like this background's not real, like literally this is not a wood background. This is wallpaper, or it's a real wood background. Who knows, right? It's the facade. So like all those like little techniques are the things that I find fascinating, but it goes into like this bigger thing, right? She's making the product and then she has like the marketing like built into the product, right? It's like it's honey. So it looks like honey, or the honeycomb at least. But she did mention in the video that people actually did try to eat that one specific one because it looked a little too close to honeycomb, which, good on her, right?
Don't eat the soap.
Yeah, don't eat the soap.
Yeah. But I did appreciate the aesthetics of her soap because it's not like they're all just different shades of a different color. It's that they each have the attention to detail to make the product look like the ingredients that go into it, and then the wide range of textures and colors and scents, and I don't know, it's quite impressive to see that much stuff that is all made right there versus like a Bath and Body Works where you go in there and none of that is made there, and it's all just like in, you know, a plastic bottle or whatever. I like the simplicity of just picking up a bar of soap. There's no packaging. There's nothing. It's just, this is what I'm going to go use. And she did give us soap. Did you get a bar of soap?
No.
I took one.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't steal it. She gave it to me.
I took one.
I took one right off the shelf.
Sometimes I feel weird about it. So like I never ask if they offer. I'm like more than welcome. But otherwise, like I'll purchase things, you know, at a later date because I feel just kind of weird. You know, I know it's like a weird exchange of like, hey, we're coming to do this video. We're going to feature you. And then they like just want to give you stuff. But I also never want to ask.
No, so. Right. Yeah. That'd be very impolite. Yeah. Especially, hey, we're here to film. Oh, by the way, can I just like load up a bag full of like $100 worth of stuff? Yeah. No. She gave it to me and it was like a great bar of soap. It lasted quite a while, which I was impressed. Sometimes like soap, like the bar form, it's like 5 uses and it's dissolved. Like it just like disintegrates, you know?
Well, now that you mention it, I had some like Power Ranger soaps when I was a kid, and it was like the helmet, right? And for one, you didn't necessarily want to use them because you were like, well, look at it, it's so like perfect. Because once you start using them, then it like slowly just becomes a bar of soap. But initially, it's like super cool. Like I'm using, you know, this the Red Ranger, you know, whatever. But
you said Power Ranger soap, and I feel like I had that same soap because when you said that, my brain immediately
I forgot about it.
Gave me the scent of like a really waxy smelling like bar of soap, and I feel like I had the same thing. And I feel like they say scent is the strongest attachment to memory. Which great that Colleen sells such excellent soap with such great smells, because what an excellent memory to be showering with a bar of soap. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a Power Rangers bar of soap as a kid.
Those are the best.
Full of chemicals, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I don't think they were made to shower with, probably. If you read the label, maybe the fine print said not for shower use.
Do not use. Danger.
Yeah.
It could be toxic. But no, I was impressed with how long the soap lasted, because I've had bar soap that disintegrates very quickly. And you're kind of like, well, that was a waste. But no, it was great. Felt clean. Didn't feel like too squeaky.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. You ever use bar soap and it's like...
I think it has a lot to do with the water.
Like your skin feels... like you feel like more rubber... Like, I don't know, tight... tightness. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've definitely used... Yeah, but I feel like maybe it's the water. Like soft water makes you feel wet even after.
I only have the one shower, so it's like it's always the same.
Do you have hard water, soft water?
It's soft water, but I'm saying like I've had other bar soap in that shower.
Gotcha.
That's been very like tight and squeaky, makes my skin feel. And the siphon draw soap, I felt
lubricated.
Yeah, like you get the soft sensation of just like a nice good clean.
Yeah. Which kind did you get?
It was the one from the thumbnail, because that's literally that bar.
Okay.
So the bar in the thumbnail is the one.
That was a really cool.
It was like a peppermint
color. Yeah. It had like white, red in there.
Kind of winter peppermint kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she has so many. I don't know how many different types of
peppermint should have like a really like refreshing feeling, right? Yeah.
And she made one that was called Road Rash.
Yes, that was cool. The black soap with some gold perhaps in there, and
it was supposed to smell like a mechanic shop, right? I'm pretty sure that was the request. And she was like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to make that and it be non-toxic,
right? But she did it.
Found the right combination of ingredients. And I think that one was because someone had a motorcycle accident. They had road rash and they wanted like a soap, and then she was like, here you go, made it.
Man, that's was kind of interesting. I was at Target maybe last week, looking for an antibacterial soap, and I could not find one that didn't have a scent. I don't know if that's just, maybe they were just out of stock specifically, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, if you want something antibacterial, wouldn't you just want plain just soap? No like fresh linens or anything like built into it. Like I kind of just want like a just antibacterial soap. Maybe I was in the wrong section.
I don't know.
But
Yeah, you would want like a pure and clean or something.
Just give me just soap. Like I'm just here for soap. I don't need extra stuff.
I actually am oddly picky about soap, and not in that like I won't use it or something, but I get hung up. Do you ever go, you're like an airport or a restaurant, you wash your hands, and then for like an hour, your hands stink like that really clinical, sterile.
Like lavender?
No, like
I've had that before.
It's like the hospital smell. There's like a certain type of soap that a few places have, and it just, so you like take a bite of your sandwich, but you smell your fingers, and it's like everything just kind of.
Just like alcohol.
Yeah, but it's like beyond that. It's like a really heavy hospital smell. And I don't know what aroma, what terpene that is.
Yeah, what terpene.
What terpene is that? I don't know. But I appreciate a good soap that's like soft and good ingredients.
Yeah. Well, I think the fewer the ingredients is like the more impressive the product, in my opinion. Because I don't know, I'm a simple guy, like I said, but I think it's very impressive when you can have a few ingredients and make it smell a certain way or act a certain way without having like a laundry list of just like, oh, is it this synthetic material that's making it do this thing? Or is it this synthetic material that I can't pronounce?
And I've always said this to people, like, I don't think you should put that much stuff on your skin. Like, I don't think you should wear that much makeup. I don't think you should, because like, it's got to be doing something. Yeah. From what you eat to what you drink to what you put on your skin, it's having an effect. And I feel like I'm not a scientist. I haven't done surveys, but a lot of the people with like the worst skin use the most products, and it's the never-ending spiral of like, well, I have bad skin, so I have to use these products. And I go, time out. Did you ever think that perhaps it's the products that are making your skin that bad? Could it be?
Right.
No. That's
And I know her products are built to like alleviate some of the issues that, like maybe a certain skin condition might, be like better off using something with fewer ingredients and less synthetic. Like she was saying, like alopecia or something like that, where it was like
eczema.
Yeah. But things that, you don't necessarily know what this, acid is going to do. Like certain things are like put in the products, which you might not want to take that risk. Right. But I don't know. Fewer ingredients, better product.
Is that Papa John's
Papa
slogan?
John's, yeah.
Fewer ingredients, better pizza.
They
should switch it. I think that'd be a good call for their marketing team. With 10 different mushroom species packed into the most delicious gummies you've ever tried, this bottle has it all, including favorites like maitake, shiitake, lion's mane, reishi, and cordyceps. You'll experience a powerful blend of beneficial compounds that support healthy cognition and increased energy levels. These gummies are of the highest quality and efficacy, making them the perfect choice for anyone looking to perform at their best. Designed for a productive lifestyle, it's the easiest way to include all the benefits of mushrooms in your day. So many good mushroom products.
Well,
that is probably our most ingredient, which is funny, ironic, that we're talking about. Well, the lion's mane is like one ingredient, and that's like quite a few. But they're gummies.
There's a lot of mushrooms in here, right?
10.
They're delicious.
They're really good. I had a good mushroom drink.
That's right.
And I think I talked about this on the podcast before.
Oh, the East Coast.
Yeah, it's called Odyssey. I didn't think I could remember the name last time. But yeah, from Fort Lauderdale, I believe. That was...
Yeah, these are delicious. These are like, I don't know, have you read the Flintstones when you were a kid?
Of course.
Yeah, well, these are like them for, I don't know.
But the Flintstones were terrible as a kid. They were chalky and hard.
Extremely chalky, yeah. These are delicious.
Oh, you're saying this is the opposite.
This is like grown-up Flintstone.
But tastes good.
Oh, yeah.
We've
come a long way.
It does not taste like Flintstones vitamins, because those are probably the worst tasting thing I think I ever had as a kid.
Flintstones, yeah.
I can taste it in my mouth right now, actually. Just the describing Flintstone vitamins. It's like eating chalk, basically. Not our gummies, though. They're really good.
Would you like some, or have you already had yours today?
I already had mine today. But these are actually sold out right now. So we got to get more back in stock. So just FYI, if anyone wants some mushroom gummies, can't right now. Look at that. The mushrooms are out of stock. The cameras are out of stock. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, When in doubt, run another ad. Often called the mushroom of immortality, reishi is the top-selling nutraceutical mushroom species worldwide. In nature, it grows on hardwood trees and is well known for supporting general wellness and vitality. Reishi has been shown to be a potent immune system regulator and stress reducer and is frequently used in traditional Chinese medicine. Taken in the evening, reishi can help calm the body, giving you a peaceful night's sleep so you can wake up feeling fully refreshed and ready to take on the day. All right, so we've got to run some active cooling in here, apparently.
Yeah. Or we just go with the one camera setup.
Just one camera.
Just the wide angle. Ditch the side.
But it's cool. If it worked 100% of the time,
yeah,
it would.
Yeah.
When it works, it's great.
Overheating issues with these cameras. I mean, you can only do so much, right? Which is ironic because some of the oldest cameras we have, like our GH5s, perfect cameras. They've never left us hanging.
Yeah. And it's a kind of picking your poison, I suppose, from a production standpoint, right? Because everyone likes these new cameras that have autofocus eye tracking, which is what's set up in here, which works well when you don't have people running the cameras. Right. But eye tracking is kind of useless if the camera can't stay on because it overheats. So yeah, when we shoot with our Lumix cameras, manual focus, okay, fine. But
I prefer the look.
Does not overheat. I've never had a GH5 or GH6 overheat at all.
No, and we've been in the worst conditions with
Arizona.
Those cameras.
I don't think it gets much
outside, 110-degree heat for 6 hours. It's perfect. Which I am looking forward to. Now we're getting into the technical filmmaking side of the podcast, but GH7 possibly, who knows? We'll have that eye tracking, hopefully, and like a phase detect, autofocus, and everything. So we'll see. Yeah. Not exactly something that we'd use every production, but maybe for interviews would probably be the best case scenario, which we typically don't even need it now because our subjects really aren't moving around that much in our interviews. So
yeah, it's kind of just like an extra peace of mind, or in situations like this where we have camera set up, it is kind of nice to know that it's doing its job. But yeah, I don't know with the GH7 if or when that ever comes out. Right now we use the GH6, which I think people are always surprised by. I had someone reach out the other day who wanted to, see if we wanted to collaborate on something because he had seen Paragraphic on YouTube and was like, I think these guys are in Arizona, which we're in Arizona. Reached out, hey, do you want to work on this project? And I was like, maybe, let me know. Let's see what the schedule works out. And it's probably not going to work out because we're so busy right now. Yeah. But, he said something of like, I asked him, what camera are you using? He's like, oh, it's nothing that great. It's just, like a prosumer, GH5. And I was like, no, that's great. Like half the paragraphics are shot on a GH5 and now they're shot on the GH6. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, you can do so much with these cameras. You don't have to spend a lot. It doesn't have to be like the latest and greatest, most expensive thing you can find. You can do so much with so little. Yeah, with lighting and angles, you could make a micro Four Thirds camera look just as good as any full frame camera. Right. Which, in our trailer, perhaps there's like Ursa footage, and I know in like the trailer for this, like the origins at least, we show like the Ursas. Oh, that we have shot with in the past, but we definitely do not now. No. They're just way too big, heavy. The batteries, like we need a whole case just for the batteries, right? And everything's just a little much with those. It's a great looking image. It's just not something that's kind of feasible with like how we want to do the productions the way we do them. Yeah, I was thinking about putting together some videos for my channel, just talking about like what we do and why we do it that way, because that's a much more like specific filmmaking topic. But even like back in the day, and I feel like even still to this day, I still have a lot of people with shoulder rigs, and we don't use shoulder rigs at all. No, like we stopped. Gross. No, because it was kind of like the Ursas took that spot. On the shoulder, and gimbals for that matter. It's like we don't even use gimbals anymore because the stabilization is just so good. Yeah, but like the classic, like shoulder rig, like you build a rig and it's on your shoulder. And I was thinking about it, I was like, we hold our cameras way differently. Than most people do because we've like shrunk it down to like what we need, but also what's manageable. Because it's not like, use as little as possible. It's use what you need to get the job done. But then also like what's still manageable. And a shoulder rig just adds size and weight for something that like isn't really necessary.
It's a very specific kind of camera operation for a shoulder rig. Shoulder rigs are typically used for very long takes, which we do not do. Our longest takes are our interviews, and for that we have tripods. So anything else we do is a very like short B-roll clip. We'll do scenes where they're a little bit longer, maybe like, you know, like 10 minutes of somebody doing something.
Yeah.
But we'll handhold them because they're very dynamic scenes. So like for me specifically, like I can't afford to have a shoulder rig because depending on what they're doing, I might have to like drop to the ground really quickly. And having a shoulder rig would be very awkward and obvious, like seeing my camera angle kind of shift from like being on my shoulder and then if I switch to like undersling it or something. So it's just very convenient to have everything kind of in a small package where I can just kind of move around very quickly in hand.
Most ENG style, because that's electronic news gathering, I think this is what that ENG, that term stands for, is exactly that, news, right? So like sports and news is the typical like camcorder on your shoulder, and that's very much like I'm going to stand in one spot for an extended period of time and I can point in any direction, but I'm not being that dynamic. I'm not getting closer or lower or higher. I'm just standing here and I'm pointing, and it's a very flat look for a project. And so
it's great for news because you just need to be able to capture what's happening.
Okay, the president is walking out, so I'm here and I'm going to follow the action or whatever. Even in that, it's probably a tripod. But for like on a football field, like the game, it's a long game and you're running up and down the sideline, you've got the camera on your shoulder. Makes sense. But for everything else, it's like to build a camera that is small, that's meant for like the cameras we use, hybrid. It's all based around photography because that's how these cameras started, to take pictures. Or how's a photographer holding their camera? It's like in front of their face, or like, you know, kind of here and manipulating and moving around and being dynamic because you want those specific angles if it's a wedding or whatever.
And you want to be able to get them quickly. So having a shoulder rig makes it a lot harder to do certain angles because usually it makes the camera much longer, which you can't really get a very low angle with. But it's something that we've developed, and even our camera systems are very different, even though we do similar shooting, but you're typically running with a much wider angle and I have a much longer lens. But still, it's same camera, very different build, but to our very unique kind of requirements, I guess.
And it was built for what we do rather than taking old habits or old, you know, standards. Well, you need a shoulder rig and you need a matte box and you need all these things, building on a kit. And then it's like, okay, well, I need to get on an airplane because I'm going to Costa Rica. Okay, maybe I should like not have to carry all this stuff and let's shrink it down. And then if you just operate everything that way of like, what's the minimum that you need to get the job done, it makes everything way easier. And it's funny to me how many people don't look at production that way. They look at it as like, well, I need these things because that's what the industry says you need.
Right. And we've actually stopped using lights for most of our productions. One, because it's a lot of time savings. We don't necessarily need to set up for a whole hour anymore. With lighting, you have to take a lot into consideration, and it is beneficial to have lights. You could make certain areas work that otherwise wouldn't be, but what we've found is it's just a lot quicker just to shoot with, you know, natural ambient light and finding something that works. And I mean, more often than not, you can find plenty of angles that work, but we also shoot at certain specific times of the day, right? It's like early morning, light looks great, you know, coming in at an angle. So it's, you know, we put ourselves into a position to get a very successful looking image. So it's all, I don't know, you need to have a lot of, experience in order to do that. So
yeah, because it's not that shoulder rigs are bad or lights are bad or expensive cameras are bad. They're good for a lot of reasons, but a lot of times those reasons aren't valid for every project. And you might be trying to make something fit. Well, I need to use lights. It's like, but you don't need to. You're outside and like the lighting is already beautiful right there. Just use it. Now, if you have to film in a space where the location is very fixed,
right?
Meaning you have to film in this room.
Right. It's like there is no light. Okay, we'll introduce our own.
Probably should bring some lights, but no. When you have a choice, when you have the flexibility of making a decision, then make the best decision. And that's what I love, the freedom of what we get to do. It's like we decide what we do and how we do it, rather than saying, "Oh, we have to do it this way because whatever reason."
And I don't know, I love how small our cameras are, just because we can put the camera in unique places, like with the Like I have a 6mm lens for the Micro Four Thirds camera, which is, you know, like a 12mm full frame, but it's extremely wide. But the camera and lens are so small, you can put it inside of an oven, for instance, right? And like not have to worry because it's just so small. You can put it into unique, quirky places and get shots that you typically would not be able to get with a traditional, like much larger camera, especially if you build it out with, you know, a matte box and everything, right? But
did we do anything special for Siphon Draw? I don't remember.
for Siphon Draw,
I don't think we did any specialty shots. We
not
flew
any
the drone.
specialty shots. If we had more time, we probably could have. But like that location specifically was a couple hour drive outside of town, kind of thing. So typically we try to produce these like in a day, right? In one day, ideally. Like some shoots more than one day and everything. But this one, it was very quick turnaround, as they all are, but there was a lot of time built into getting there and coming back. So
yeah, and I don't even think I'm trying to think what we would do. We used to do a lot more time lapses. We don't do those as much anymore. Definitely usually trying to find spots for like a GoPro or a 360 camera, just like a small camera to put somewhere. Mm-hmm. But even for Siphon Draw, I don't know what it would have been because we're not gonna like put it in the soap. You're not gonna see anything. It's like cloudy liquid, you know, that like is firming up in real time. And it's also like 100 and what'd she say? It was like 130 degrees, 150 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So yeah, I don't even know what we would have done, but we usually try and approach projects that way where it's like, what cool thing could we do for this one?
Yeah. Which there is an upcoming video where we have very, very cool, unique angles, and we'll talk about it in that Origins episode. But yeah, it depends on the video and the creativity we can have given the circumstances. So
yeah, usually trying to find something fun to do. Sometimes you can't fly the drone because you know, airport flight restrictions, that kind of thing. So not all of them have drone shots, but we try and do that. I think it's a nice little added touch. But normally it's, I'd say 99% of the content is GH6, but that could have been a GH5, could have been a Sony camera, could have been a Canon camera, could have been Nikon, Blackmagic, Red, Arri. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of just like, what are you pointing the camera at is what's more important.
Yeah. Just, I mean, capturing a great story does not have to have the most dynamic range, you know?
And even then, like, if you only have so much dynamic range to begin with, like, what does it matter?
I don't know, unless you want to get a specific look. But even then, then you're trying to do something else. Like, are we trying to tell a story, or are you trying to make it look a certain way, right? It's like there's a compromise, and there always is. But if, like, we only really run with one camera system, so everything looks the same nowadays. But yeah, I don't know if anyone can tell though. Like, if, you know, an old Ursa video we did, which one did we do with an Ursa specifically? The Renaissance, not the Renaissance, the
Medieval Times.
Medieval Times, yeah.
That was one.
That was
Worm Farm.
Yeah.
Like the very first stuff.
Yeah.
Sourdough, mushrooms.
Which even then, we weren't using the Ursa to its full capabilities. We weren't shooting RAW, which would have been a lot more space on the hard drives, but
and just a lot more complication in post, because if you're doing RAW, you need the right plugin. Every new computer you add to the post-production equation needs that same plugin.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of issues with RAW being like just incompatible on a certain machine for whatever reason, glitching out, having more errors. Or like if you're filming ProRes or you're filming, you know, MP4s like H.264, it tends to be a lot more stable and reliable. You can just edit the files. You don't need like special software.
Which, I mean, for as great as using like the full RAW, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's more like a narrative scenario that you'd be in where you'd want to take advantage of like all those special features on a camera. But for us, I feel like it's more about just getting the most reps of telling stories as we can, because we get better with every story. Like every new paragraphic is my favorite paragraphic, right? And it has nothing to do with the new cameras that we've used, because if anything, we're using less equipment every shoot, but somehow they get better and better. So,
and that's like talent, skill, the lessons you learn from experience rather than buying something that gets the job done.
Yeah.
Which is very rarely the case. Like, that's not going to happen.
After every shoot, it's always the same thing. It's like, we need more B-roll. We need more, you know, shots. But it's,
Yeah. It's fun to get to the point where those are the takeaways. Those are the improvements. Not like, oh, if only I could had another $50,000 to buy this camera. Like, if I had $50,000 to buy a camera, I wouldn't. I don't think. No. You know.
Well, that's the hidden cost that not a lot of people see, right? They see the camera price, but not necessarily factoring all the other things that they'll have to purchase in order to make that one camera operate efficiently, not just in on the field, but in post production.
Yeah, the right computer to edit it, but the batteries, the memory cards, the lenses. Yep. All the accessories. Yeah, it's a lot. And it gets very expensive very quickly if you're aiming for that like top tier. Yeah. But I don't think there's any reason to, aside from if you have the money to spend and that's the level of projects you're working on, go for it. But I would hate to ever tell that to some random independent person who's like, I want to do documentaries on YouTube. Yeah. Well, okay, here you need $100,000 in startup costs. It's like, no, you could probably do it with your phone, honestly, nowadays.
Well, it's very interesting because in the past, and this was only maybe 10 years ago, like a Vimeo was very, exclusive because YouTube was cat videos, right? And then if you were serious about making, any type of production, you were like, well, I need a better camera. I need all these things to make mine stand out, right? But nowadays, you're not competing necessarily with people just producing better quality videos. You're competing with people who are just putting out content constantly. So the amount of time you're spending in post-production, you've already lost this whole battle of, gaining followers, gaining views, gaining everything, because the longer it takes you to produce the content, like the further behind you're getting from somebody who's just posting from their phone, content.
Yeah. And nowadays, most people are doing it from their phone. Mm-hmm. The most successful people probably are.
Yeah, and you can still get it to look good, but it goes down to the basics of, angles, lighting, just very pure basics, which a lot of people, like, once you master those, like, any camera can look great.
Yeah. And I feel like the hardest part for Siphon Draw was just the space constraints. Mm-hmm. It's a smaller shop, a smaller back room, which is a more challenging thing to make look good, but not impossible. And it's just one of the limiting factors. But I appreciate the way we film because we're able to handle those situations rather than going like, oh, we can't possibly film here. It's too small.
Too messy.
It's like, okay, this is like a little smaller than ideal, but we'll still make it work.
Yeah. And a lot of people have an issue with like the cleanliness of the space. They're like, oh, I didn't prepare this room. It's very dirty and everything. It's like, no, it's cool. Like I'm literally not even going to see it. I won't even point my camera in that direction. Like you have no need to worry. It'll be fine. Like
the clutter that people have,
Yeah. Which, if anything, it helps tell the story because, like, this is what it is. Which, it's every now and then we'll run into that issue where we want to film with somebody and they'll say, like, oh, we're not ready. It's like, well, I don't think you'll ever be ready because most businesses are in a constant state of flux where it's like, well, this room is now used for storage. Now this room is now this. So, are you ever going to be ready? Right? It's like your home. If you're going to invite people over, you're like, oh, gotta clean. It's like, do you? Maybe you might need to clean.
And the way we film is just do your normal thing.
Yeah,
and if you're working out of the space, like we can film there.
Right, and we don't. It's not like a gotcha piece. We're trying to make you look as cool as possible. So we're not gonna show your clutter on purpose and be like, look at this. Can you believe this?
Can you believe? Yeah. There's some good memes about like people, joking.
Can you believe?
I got to clean my baseboards because people are looking. That's like right. No one's looking.
Like nobody's looking. Nobody cares. Looking.
But yeah, no, I think anything else from Siphon Draw?
Siphon Draw. I mean, it's something that I don't think I would make my own soap. But I appreciate the people who go about that process to make soap because, like I said, I went to the store trying to find basic, very few ingredient soap, and I couldn't find it. So the fact that people just are taking it upon themselves and creating businesses where, like, no, like people need this, I'm going to make it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's something she loves to do. Mm-hmm. She's got the experience, the intelligence, the learned along the way, and then I'm going to go turn this into a business, which is, I don't know, I think the best advice for anyone. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy our documentaries as much as we enjoy making them. Unfortunately, many of our videos don't earn enough YouTube revenue to afford the cost of production. But if you like our content, the best thing you can do is directly support it on Patreon. Plus, you'll get access to behind-the-scenes vlogs and commentary. If you're looking for something more in return, go to paragraphic.io where you can buy our other products and services. Alternatively, you can shop our Amazon storefront for our favorite equipment recommendations. Also, check out Boca, where you can find beneficial supplements liquids to optimize your productivity. We especially love the lion's mane and mushroom gummies. And finally, consider signing up to Multitude, a platform built for long-form content, where you and other content creators can share and monetize new videos every week.